Here's your Sunday, June 7th. We're going to get to the recap of the 1942 16-team tourney of all the teams in the 1942 Major League Baseball League. But first, we're going to honor the troops here and overseas for what's happening in the week of June 7th. Two, perhaps three Japanese carriers sunk with all their planes. Nimitz reports 3 battleships, 8 other warships damaged. The sea fight goes on in the Midway area. Battle is in view, Admiral says. 4 cruisers are hit, 3 Japanese transport damage, and American carrier is struck. The British show pictures of Cologne, 8 square miles away, as they start to bomb the Germans. Axis in Libya hit. Rommel is struggling. South African sortie in El Ghazala region takes prisoners. Heavy fighting is on there. There is widespread bootlegging of gas. 1,000 aides of OPA have found that to be the case, and more RAF bombers are hitting the center. So go to your local newspaper to see all the latest news. But here, let's go to the baseball tourney and see what's happening here on this fancy way of showing things. So we have 4 group stages that we're playing. I sorted them out by the 1 and 16, the best and worst seed of their area were placed, and then the middle seeds like 5 and 11, 6 and 10, 4 and 8. Nope, sorry, 8 and 12, and 7 and 9 were done spattered in here randomly. So remember, and so in Group 1, first series of games, the Cardinals faced the Phillies and won every game, and they have 9 points. Remember, I'm assigning 3 points. I changed what I did in the first video. I'm assigning 3 points to a game win, and 3 points to a game win, and 2 points if you win in extra innings, and 1 point if you lose in extra innings. I'm just giving it a shot. I'm not sure that's going to be the best way to do things. The next way we're differentiating is run differential, and then runs against. So that's kind of looking at your defense, and then runs for, and then ultimately errors if there are still ties. So these are the things that we're going by here. At the end of, so everyone's going to play everyone 3 games. So the next game will be the Cardinals and Pirates. So they'll be battling it out for first place here. Giants against the Phils, and then the final game will be the Giants and Cardinals, and it'll go so forth like that throughout all the groups. You can see though, and so then what's going to happen at the end of the 3rd week of this, the top 2 teams from each group will be seeded 1 through 8, and I'll show you where they stand right now, and then placed in a tourney bracket here. And we'll play the best of 3, and then the best of 5 in a championship game. Okay, so in the first week, I will tell you that interesting series of games. The big thing I want to point out is errors cost 5 teams games. There were errors where they didn't really matter, but there were 5 distinct games that teams lost and or won, but they lost because they made the errors because of errors by 1 run or 2 runs, and they made the difference in the game, and that was a huge thing that I find very interesting. Lots of hits, and I was doing something wrong in the beginning. I was giving a few too many hits to teams, but it kind of balanced out a little bit. But there's still a lot of hits in this fast inning baseball. Remember, that's what I'm using. All right, so in Group 1, the Cardinals have 9. Run differential is 7. Pirates really rocked the Giants here and went into extra innings in 1 game, but their differential is 14, I think. Is that the most? No, we have another one that's got more. So, nope, that's the most of any group. In Group 2, we have the Athletics 15 and Chicago Cubs 10 are in the top 2 spots. They're both at 6. Yeah, Group 1 is the biggest spread here, too, by the way. Well, I guess we do have it. Group 3, Cincinnati Reds and Boston Braves, the 7 and 14. I would say kind of securely. That 9's got themselves, the Reds got themselves a nice secure position here. I guess the Tigers, there was 0. It was really painful there. And then in the final Group 4, Chicago White Sox 12th seed, the Boston Red Sox 4th seed. Red Sox are up basically because of run differential. But and runs allowed too. I mean, look at that. They only allowed 5 runs. That's amazing. So that's going to be that. So be interesting to watch the matchups after that. Just as a little point of information here, so I'm playing this in June 1st, the week of June 1st through the 7th in 1942, and I'll use the headlines just kind of as a placeholder. I did read a little bit of the sports sections of the New York Times. That's what I have a subscription to, but you can check a lot of papers that have archives. It's pretty cool. They scan them and you can click on them and see them up close in PDF form. But reading some of the baseball scores and things and just kind of seeing the same players that I'm using. Remember, Fascinating Baseball has got all the players on there. Whoops. It's kind of fun to see that and see how they write the write-ups. Are very different writing style than today, but it's pretty cool. So there we go. So I'll read the news from each of the Sundays. Those are all the Sundays, and New York Times does a nice wrap-up, and I can do the headlines from then. All right, let's look at I'm keeping track of a few things. I was keeping track of ERAs. That became a pain in the butt, and so I'm not going to do that. Home runs I can track, and Rudy York from the Detroit Tigers, 3 home runs, 2 in 1 game. So that's the most. I was surprised to see, have a bunch of ones. And then Wally Judnick from the St. Louis Browns follows with 2. So he's our home run leader for the season so far. That'll be fun to see how that pans out. But 2 in 1 game, that's pretty fun to see. And we did have 2 grand slams, one by Nanny Fernandez from the Boston Braves and one from the Cincinnati Reds, Eddie Juiced. So just 1 each, but grand slams. That was pretty cool. Clutch offensive plays. You don't really know what they're doing. It's called a clutch at bat. So they kind of won the game on a big play or a couple big plays. Just kind of call them the offensive players generally. And Bert Haas from the Cincinnati Reds. So Cincinnati's shown up well. Has 2. And then there's 4 players with 1. And then finally you have the web gems, and these are like defensive plays. So kind of defensive player of the year, which would be kind of cool to track. And right now we just have 2, Joe Medwick, Ernie Lombardi. And it'll be surprising if we get too much differential there and, in any of these, because we're not playing that many games. But it'd be kind of cool if we see one of these guys come up with a couple more. Maybe I'll determine it by the overall defense of the team or something. Then just keeping track of the pitchers. They're all either going to have 1 game won, 1 game lost, or a no decision. I don't really know how that scores there, but I'm just going to say if they basically left the game and it was tied and they go out in the bullpen, wins or loses it, I just call it a no decision. I don't know how that works there, but someone knows, they can tell me, but I'm not going to change that. I'm just going to keep with that record pattern. So then you got the rest of the guys that won and lost, and that'll be fun. So with pitchers, you can do this thing where, they can only bat or pitch every 3 games or something. What I decided to do is go to a game a week type of situation or a series a week. So I'm just going to roll. I roll for the first 2 games that the teams play on the chart, and it says it'll chart here. They show the pitcher finder, and then I put up that pitching staff, and then I choose the 3rd game pitcher, to give me some opportunity to choose somebody that plays. Like if they're losing, they really need to win it. Like one of the teams, I didn't put their best guy in. I guess I would always do that now at this point. So now I'm just wondering, maybe I should just roll for it to kind of spread out the guys who play, and just don't let someone repeat in that week. I think I'll start doing that actually. So that'd be more fun. And then lastly, I haven't been looking if I could see these guys. That is hilarious. I hope I've been able to see what I've been showing. I think I have. Oh boy. Okay. Anyway, here we go. You can see so here's how the seeding would come out in the first week. I'll keep track of this over the 6 weeks. Actually, I don't need to keep track of it over the 6 weeks. I can just track it for the first 3 weeks, and because that'll show me the seeds. So it'll be fun to see if this changes much. Yeah, there's only 2 weeks that they're going to do this, but they get up to 9 points per week. So this 9 could move up, and if none of these guys win or something. So we could see a lot of shift and movement here. It'll be fun to see and compare the weeks. Right now, the Reds are up 9 with 8 run differential. So a 1 run differential gives them the first seed. The Cardinals are the second seed. Pittsburgh Pirates, 11. Notice we only have 3 single-digit seeds out of the 8. I thought that was pretty interesting. Pittsburgh Pirates have the 11th seed with 8 points and 14 run differential. That's quite a difference there. And then we have a bunch of 6s, and it's all based on the run differential. Chicago White Sox, Athletics, Philadelphia Athletics, Boston Red Sox, Boston Braves, and Chicago Cubs. So Chicago and Boston both have 2 teams represented in the tournament so far, but we'll see how that changes. I suspect we'll see a little bit of movement. I imagine the Yankees will kind of turn around a little bit, and possibly the Dodgers will go up. But it's fun to see the lower seeds do well. It's kind of fun to see. And, that's why they play so many games, because you're going to have some down days, as you can see the teams did. It'll be fun to see if the Phillies or Tigers are able to move up. I mean, they could get as many as 18 points. Just have to get that run differential up. So, and seeing this, I'm thinking maybe it would be fun just to have I wouldn't want to do 3 games each, but maybe I have a season. So this is going to be 9 games each that are going to determine this. Maybe I have a season where they all play each other one time. I know they don't never cross over, or maybe I do it where the National League and American League play play each other. Boy, that'd be a lot of games, wouldn't it? That'd be 3, where they play each other, 3 times. Or twice, maybe. I don't know. I can see there's some fun ways to do this. I just like doing this tournament format. It's kind of fun to do, but it might also be fun just to have them all play each other one time. That would give them 15 games each. Anyway, fun stuff. I'm having a good time, and this has been a long video. So that's the tournament right now. That's where we stand. Next week, some of these teams, like the Cardinals and, is it the Cardinals and Red? Nope. Cardinals and Pirates are going to play each other. So you'll see some differentiation spread out there maybe a little bit. So who do the Reds play? The Reds will play the Detroit Tigers. Oh, wow. Whoops. Don't even see that. Reds will play the Detroit Tigers. Oh, wow. So the first number 1 seed again will play the 16 seed. Will we see the same thing happen where they sweep them and get, wow, if they could get 18 points and spread out that run differential. Wait a minute. Wait, the Reds played the Tigers already. Hold on. Yeah, the Reds will play the Braves. No, wait, that's not right. Yeah, the Reds will play the Braves. So sorry. So let's see what that. Reds will play the Braves. So Reds will play the Braves. So, yeah, it's interesting. We've got some top teams playing each other, which will differentiate them. And some of these guys will get some victories and possibly move them up. So some of these guys are going to have to lose. Some of them are going to win. It'll be fun to watch how this week 2 it changes. All right, that's it. We've said enough of that gabbing. Blah, blah, blah. Thanks for watching this. This is Fast Inning Baseball 1942 Group Stage Tournament with a best of tournament following. Thank you very much. We'll see you on June 14th, 1942.